let me just introduce who we got here today in the audience. We're some of our inspired guests. Of course, right here we have the lovely Cindy McCain, the wife of U.S. Senator John McCain. Gentlemen, please. Next to her we have the Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice. Next to that we have the current President of the United States, George Walker Bush. Let's all give him a Milwaukee welcome. And finally, the man standing in front of the giant rubber stamp. You know him as U.S. Senator John McCain.
I live in Menasha. I currently work in Appleton, Wisconsin. Yesterday was my 17th year anniversary at my plant. Last Tuesday, I found out that I'm not going to see my 18th anniversary because my plant is shutting down next April. I am wondering what your stance is, and if you're in agreement with President Bush's trade policies. I know personally I am not taking the stance that it is what it is and crawling into the corner. I'm taking the stance that enough is enough, and I want to know if you're going to stand up with the working families of this country as enough is enough.
Well, thank you for the question. Now, George Bush, you've supported a number of Bush agenda of outsourcing our jobs and unfair trade deals. What have you been in the United States Senate?
Rubber state.
Now, excuse me, Senator McCain, I have enough.
My name is Irene Ransom. I'm from Grafton. As a nurse, I see firsthand the toll of the current broken healthcare system and its effect on the people of Wisconsin. I see people whose families can't afford health care. I talk to them. They say, this is wrong, that's wrong with my child, but we can't afford health care. We can't afford to go to the emergency. We can't afford to go to the walk-in clinic. So I see children whose bones are set wrong because that's the way they grew, because they could not afford treatment. Are you going to have the same policy as George?
John McCain, you have endorsed those policies. And in fact, you offer a plan that's going to discourage employers from giving their workers health insurance. And in fact, it's going to lead to 48 million uninsured Americans. So when it comes to the Bush agenda of denying health care for all Americans, what have you been, John McCain, in the United States Senate?
Big old state.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you tried to push through a privatizing Social Security plan, and a lot of people, including a lot of people right here in the audience, stopped you dead in your tracks. John McCain, you supported those same plans to privatize Social Security and put it at risk so you could enrich your investors on Wall Street. Now, John McCain, when it comes to privatizing Social Security, what have you been in the United States Senate?
As a surviving cancer person, she has to pay atrocious amounts of money every single month for her prescriptions. And I'd like to know, John McCain, how you can let that happen. Why won't you close the donut hole?
Against an amendment that would have closed that donut hole. So when it comes to protecting our seniors and providing prescription drug relief and closing that donut hole once and for all, what have you been in the United States Senate? I'm sorry, were you saying... Okay, you have said, a millionaire with 9 homes, you have said the tax cuts need to be permanent. So when it comes to the Bush agenda of tax cuts for the rich, John McCain, what have you been in the United States Senate? Let's get a big old boo for these guys. They're not giving a damn thing to working people who are losing their homes. John McCain, there was just a news report that your top economic advisor, Senator Phil Gramm, has been paid a Swiss bank specifically to stop bills that would help people who are in danger of losing their home. Now, if you lost one of your homes, you'd still have 8, right? Okay. When it comes to foreclosures and not helping people out, what have you been in the United States Senate? You guys came up, George Bush, you came up with a $5 billion plan to give to Big Oil. And John McCain, you supported that. So I guess when it comes as far as Big Oil goes, where are you in the United States Senate? That you wanted no child left behind so that you didn't have to be embarrassed about your children. But what I'm concerned about is today's children, we're just teaching them how to take tests. We're not educating our children for the future. I know you guys are shipping our jobs, but we don't really need to be educated to work. So I'm really concerned what you guys are really planning. Senator McCain, what are you doing to ensure our children quality education? That's a good question. Now it is true, George Bush, you are the architect of No Child Left Behind, which might be why it's so screwed up. And in fact, you have your No Child Left Behind, which you have not fully funded, has cost Wisconsin. Does everybody know how much No Child Left Behind has cost Wisconsin? Did you say it's $100 million? $200 million? $300 million? Oh, let's just quit it now. It's $600 million No Child Left Behind has cost people in Wisconsin. And John McCain, you've certainly done every step of the way, haven't you? Well, so when it comes to education funding, deny our kids a decent education, and robbing Wisconsin of $600 million of education funds, what are you going to do with that stamp? We got another questioner here. George Bush, you have said in the past that you don't believe in the minimum wage because you think... How can you oppose the minimum wage? John McCain, you voted for the minimum wage not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times, not 6 times, but 7 times you voted against it. So when it comes to the minimum wage and making sure that worker wages for working people rise, because that's what lifts America, what have you been in the United States Senate? We're going to introduce the Secretary of State, Condoleezza Rice, who came here to be our eye candy. We have the lovely Cindy McCain, the billionaire beer heiress. We have Texas's own, the 43rd President of the United States. God help us all, George W. Bush. And finally, the guest of honor before he goes in to deliver some remarks to some people and then cop some big bucks downtown Milwaukee, Senator John McCain. Now, what do you people think here? Do we want more McCain? No! So we want no more McCain! No more McCain! No more McCain! No more McCain!